All right, for every healthcare leader tuning in, we're about to unpack a massive strategic opportunity. We're going to talk about one of the most fundamentally broken experiences in our industry. That gap between a physical medical product in your hand and the digital support you desperately need. This isn't about building yet another app. It's about activating a system you're already being forced to build. So, here's our game plan. First, we'll define a huge market failure we call the Phygital Chasm. Then, we'll cover the regulatory forces that are creating an urgent why now. We'll introduce our talking product solution, talk about the incredible ROI, show you how we turn regulatory hurdles into a competitive moat, and we'll wrap up with a very specific partnership ask. Let's dive in. Okay, so the core problem, we call it the simplicity gap. And really, just think about it for a second. The experience of connecting a physical prescription bottle or a medical device to its essential digital support is just profoundly broken. This isn't a small issue. It's a massive universal market failure that affects pretty much every patient and clinician out there. And just how big is that failure? Well, we're looking at a $200 billion opportunity. This is not a niche problem. This is where markets like patient support, medical adherence, and supply chain integrity all slam into the same wall of friction. The scale is just staggering, and it's absolutely ripe for a real solution. Now, what's really fascinating here is why that gap exists. Right now, patients and clinicians are basically trapped between two equally terrible choices. On one side, you've got the low-tech stuff, the paper inserts with microscopic print that nobody can read, or QR codes that are just dumb links to a static website. On the other side, you have these high-tech, high-friction solutions, custom apps that cost a fortune to build and are a total pain for anyone to actually download and sign up for. Neither one really works. So if the problem is this big, you have to ask, why is now the moment to solve it? The answer is simple. Because it's no longer optional. Regulatory bodies have stepped in and created this powerful, compliance-driven tailwind that, honestly, changes everything. This isn't just a trend, it's a mandate. And this slide illustrates that mandate perfectly. You've got three huge forces all converging at once. First, the FDA's UDI mandate. That means a 2D barcode on all medical devices. Second, the DSCSA mandate. That means a similar barcode on all prescription drugs. And third, the GS1 digital link standard, which makes these mandated barcodes smart. It turns a single compliance code into a gateway for all kinds of experiences. The trigger mechanism we need is being deployed for you on 100% of products. So here's the crucial point. You are already spending millions of dollars to comply with these rules. Our pitch isn't, add our code to your product. Our pitch is, let us activate the barcode you're already required to have and turn that multi-million-dollar compliance cost into your next revenue-generating, problem-solving asset. So this brings us to the solution, what we call the talking product. It's a platform built on a trigger-first strategy. See, instead of fighting with competitors on their turf, this creates an entirely new, unoccupied market space, a true blue ocean. Now, let's be super clear. This is not a simple chatbot. A chatbot answers a question, right? Like, what are your hours? An AI agent executes a task. It can check a product's batch number for a recall. It can automate documentation right into a medical record. Or it can help a patient reorder their supplies. It's really the difference between a glorified FAQ and a personal assistant. In this chart, wow, this really illustrates that blue ocean strategy perfectly. Just look at the bottom left quadrant. That's the digital front door battlefield, where all these companies are fighting to automate your website and your call center. Now look at the top right, the space where the interaction starts, from the physical product, and it's focused on clinical tasks. It's completely empty. That's where this platform operates. We're not just another competitor. We're creating a whole new category. Okay, so let's get down to brass tacks. Let's talk about the return on investment. Because a solution in healthcare can't just work for one person. It has to create this unified value loop that delivers a distinct, quantifiable ROI for absolutely everyone in the ecosystem. And that's exactly what this does. For the patient, It solves confusion with instant voice-led answers. For the clinician, it just crushes that administrative burden by automating documentation. For the manufacturer, it deflects those super expensive support calls and helps improve patient adherence. And for the health system C-suite, it captures lost revenue and reduces safety risks. It's one single action, a simple scan that solves 4 critical problems all at once. SEX 0.5. And let's talk specifics for the C-suite. By simply automating the documentation of high-value implants right there at the point of care, Memorial Hermann Health System generated an additional $67 million in charge capture that was otherwise just being lost. This isn't some projection. It's a documented result of turning a simple scan into a revenue event. For manufacturers, the ROI is just as clear. A leading medical device company fields over 4,000 patient support calls every single day for things like setup and troubleshooting. Imagine just deflecting the majority of those by giving the product a voice. That is a massive direct impact on your operational costs. And for the clinicians, the people on the front lines, Stanford Healthcare found that automating unique device identifier documentation reduces the time spent on that one task by 98%. We're talking about a shift from minutes of tedious typing down to just a few seconds of scanning. This isn't just about efficiency. This is about giving time back to patient care and reducing burnout. Of course, healthcare has these huge barriers to entry, right? HIPAA and FDA regulation. A naive approach is doomed to fail. But the right strategy, it doesn't just avoid these barriers, it navigates them and, in doing so, transforms them from a wall into a powerful, defensible moat. So the key is understanding this concept we call the red line for software as a medical device, or SAMD. Here's the deal. Software that simply informs a user, like, say, reading a label out loud, is considered a non-device. But the moment that software starts to direct a user, like advising them on a misdated medical device, then you need FDA clearance. And that red line? It dictates our entire go-to-market strategy. We start in phase 1, with the high ROI, unregulated solutions like patient info and clinician workflow automation. Those generate immediate revenue. Then we use that revenue and credibility to fund phase 2, co-developing the regulated patient guide agent with a strategic partner. This whole approach de-risks the business model and builds that defensible moat over time. So this brings us to the final section and to our specific ask. This is not a standard software sale. Given the regulatory and the integration complexity, this opportunity requires a true strategic partnership to co-create the future of the physical front door. Let's be perfectly clear. A self-serve, product-led growth model is a complete non-starter in this space. It just won't work. The mandatory HIPAA and FDA compliance hurdles mean the only path to success is a high-touch, long-term strategic partnership. This requires a deep engagement, not just a simple transaction. SEX 0.5. So, right now we are seeking 2 ideal design partners. First, a major medical device manufacturer. To you, the pitch is simple. Let's co-develop an FDA-validated agent to deflect those thousands of daily support calls and finally solve patient adherence. Second, a major innovative health system. To you, the pitch is, let's implement the AI agent that replicates the $67 million in revenue capture and the 98% time savings that your peers have already proven is possible. Which leaves every leader watching with one final strategic question to consider. That 2D barcode you're spending millions to put on every single one of your products? Is it just a compliance cost you have to bear? Or is it the key to unlocking your next billion-dollar asset? The choice is yours. Ready to take your conversations to the next level? Try Speak with AI today. Get full access for 14 days. No commitments, no credit card required. Visit Speak with AI and start your free trial now.